Okay, we're back again to look at another duct fitting as part of our simple and straight line layout procedures or pattern development. And this one, same sizes as our radius throat, radius heel. This one is a square throat, square heel. So it's all based on 90s and straight lines, no arcs or anything like that. Okay, but we still have a 4x6. So we're 4 inches inside in the opening. The depth is our 6 inches still. And our throat here, instead of a radius, is just given as 4-inch TYP, meaning typical. Meaning if it's 4 this way, it's 4 that way. So the typical, when we see a line, means that anything that looks kind of symmetrical, it looks like it's the same dimension. If it's indicated as one of them is that dimension, then we take it that all of them are. Okay, so the typical means there's multiple of the same dimension. So again, here's our sample. We're 4x6, meaning 4 inches across the front, 6 inches in our depth, with a 4-inch throat here, 4x4. Okay. So we're going to start with blank sizes again. So we'll start with our blanks, and again I want to find my cheek, the throat, and the heel. Again, if we look, we're 4 here, we're 4 here, giving me 8 across here. The same blank size as the radius one, and again I'm 4 going this way in the throat, and then 4 in the opening again. So my cheek in this case is the same as it was before, as 8x8 for this one. That'll encompass the whole part. When we look at the throat, we're looking at, again, it's a perimeter type calculation as we did in the radius throat. But it's not a circumference, it's just straight lines. So 4 plus 4 gives me the perimeter of the throat there. And that gets me to 8 inches. 4 plus 4. And then again, we know the 6 indicates our depth, so we're going to be by 6. For the heel, we're still looking at perimeter, but we're looking at the outside perimeter here now. Okay, and if we know our cheek was 8x8, I know that this dimension here was 8, and so is this. So going the perimeter, I'm now going 8 inches plus 8 inches. Okay, and if we bring that 4 and pop it up right here, from anywhere in the throat, we have 4 there and we have 4 here. Those just rise up. And it gives me this dimension here. Okay, so that one, the heel is going to be 16 by 6. Now for this one, I'm still just going to draw out my cheek again. But if we drew out our heel and throat, they're going to be slightly rectangular parts. And the only layout I have to do on these ones is I want to indicate where my bend is going to be here. Okay, so on my 6x8, I'm going to put a line at 4 inches so that it becomes 4 and 4. And then that's going to be my bend to get inside here. Same with the heel, it'll look exactly the same, but it'll have different numbers on it. It's not going to be 8 here, it's going to be 16. And it'll be 8 and 8. So in that case, so it's on center, becomes our bend point. To follow whatever perimeter we had here. It may not be symmetrical. We might have a throat that's 2 and 4 or different numbers of some sort. It's not always going to be symmetrical, but all we're doing is laying out the perimeter that we've calculated to get the blank size that we came up with here. Okay. Okay, so let's draw out our cheek at our 8x8 again. And all we're doing when we're doing this layout, especially in the simple straight line development, is we're just making a true representation of what we see here as the cheek. We're just drawing this out. We know it's 8 here. We know it's 8 there. The only part we have to remove or draw is the throat. The heel's already drawn in the blank size because it stays along that line. So again, we're going to measure our opening, and I'll do it on both sides now, okay, going this way and this way. I'll also, before I do that, add in my arrow. I haven't done that. So always a good idea to draw our arrow for direction of airflow, so I don't get confused, or I don't forget where the openings are in the fitting. Okay, so I know there's an opening at this end and at this end, just as my picture shows here. So I'll come in here at my base dimension, and I'll tick off again the midpoint. Always remember measuring the opening. My throat's a little off, it won't matter. Well, I shouldn't say it won't. In some cases it could, but the throat is definitely the least important out of them. So I've got my tick, my 8's coming all the way to the outside, and now I've done a 4 and 4 inside here to accommodate my throat, and I'm merely going to square up those lines. Okay, in the shop, multiple ways to do that. In the drafting room, we have our drafting equipment to accommodate it. So scribe it across, there we go. Square throat, square heel elbow.